is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It is the fourth, final, and deciding game of the series between the Royals and the Cleveland Indians. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Ned Yost made some news today. Danny Duffy is out of the starting rotation. He will pitch in the bullpen for the rest of the regular season and into the playoffs. I don't know if Yordano Ventura feared that he would lose his spot for the end of the season and into the playoffs, but now he knows for sure that he is in there, and maybe that'll get him back on track.
Let's hope so. It's on. The competition internally is what stirs players. They know it. It's there. This is a big moment for the Royals in postseason. That doesn't happen every year. We got spoiled last year, but there's no guarantees. If you want to be an ace, stand up. Execute your pitches. You got ace stuff. He's got the quality to get these guys out of that and split this series.
And he'll be facing an ace tonight, Corey Kluber, who hasn't had great numbers this year, but he's the reigning Cy Young winner.
No, he's got pedigree, that's for sure. Ventura, he's going to earn his. It's just going to take some time. But this guy with a golden arm has tremendous potential, high upside. If he can just stay down in that zone, execute his pitches, shut down that hot Cleveland Indians offense, and he'll be just fine, get him a few runs, and head on to Motown for a little Motown beatdown. Just think about tonight and nothing else.
Yeah, and speaking about that Indians offense, this isn't all about the Royals in this series. Even with the shutout 2 nights ago, the Cleveland Indians have averaged 5 runs a game for the last 3 weeks. Joel and Monty will talk about Corey Kluber when we come back.
Against the Royals, and he gave up a career-high 10 hits. He'd give up 10 later in the year to the Angels, but this was the first of 3 losses to the Royals after having an ERA in the low 1s against them last year. welcome you back to Progressive Field by the visitors' dugout. Joel Goldberg alongside of Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. Perhaps purple is the lucky color of the night. Looking good, Monty. Now the question is, can the Royals start to look good going up against the defending Cy Young Award winner? They faced him 4 times. They beat him the first 3. But he threw a complete game against them the last time, as we see. And look a little closer at our Academy Sports and Outdoor leaderboard. How do they get to guys like Kluber and so many aces?
Well, the biggest thing is you got to get to him early. You don't want to let him get settled in. He is a horse. He's thrown over 200 innings already this year. 2 complete games against the Royals. But I think if you get him early, especially coming off that hamstring injury, you got a much better chance of doing a good job against a Corey Kluber.
Maybe try to test out those legs, drop a bun here and there?
Whatever action you can do to create some disarray for him, I think that's the key.
Yordano Ventura is ready to go here in the series finale. It is Ventura and Kluber. First pitch coming up next.
Play gets back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. And by your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your local Chevy dealers today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. A loss for the Royals last night, but Minnesota also lost in 12 innings to Detroit, so the Royals' magic number has gone from 9 to 8. Any combination of Royals wins and Minnesota losses, and the Royals are Central Division champions. Royals lineup tonight, and the Royals have scored 3 runs or fewer in 4 straight games and 3 runs or fewer in 8 of the last 12 games. So while the emphasis lately has been on the lack of starting pitching, Royals offense has cooled off lately, and they'll try and warm back up against the guy who won the Cy Young Award last year.
Yeah, it's nice to see Ned make a few changes in that lineup. Get a couple of guys in there, Moose hitting that second spot. But Corey Kluber, they know what they're facing against Kluber. He's a high strikeout pitcher. This guy's got some really nice arsenal, sinking fastball, cutter, slider, curve, change. He's a dominant pitcher, but he does not walk many. That's good for the Royals. We're an aggressive offense. He's only walked 38 batters this year in 200 innings. Now defensively, Lindor, why not highlight him? He's been a one-man highlight reel for this team here, especially this last month here in September, even going back to August. The kid's been driving their bus. If you shut him down, you shut the tribe down. Find a way to get him out. Defensively,
He's outstanding. Last night we showed you he's made several of these plays. He knows who's running. He knows all the situations. Highly intelligent young shortstop for 21 years old. He's playing like he's in his prime.
And at the plate, he has driven in 12 runs in the last 2 series against the Royals. Crew chief Jeff Nelson's at first base. Chris Guccione is behind the plate, with Corey Blazer at second and Ben May at third. And with that, we are ready to go with Ben Zobrist leading off. Alex Gordon and Lorenzo Cain are out of the lineup tonight, and Zobrist takes ball 1.
Kluber's aggressive. He likes to throw his fastball 90 to 95 miles an hour. He's going to try to establish that pitch as early as he can. Time, jump on him.
Brantley comes in from left field. 2 pitches and 1 down for Kluber. And now Mike Moustakas. And as you enjoy a cold one tonight, look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. Several Royals have good numbers against Corey Kluber. Mike Moustakas has great numbers against the Indians righty. .457 with 6 extra base hits.
Yeah, it's nice to see Ned shuffle the lineup, bring Moose out of that 6 hole, put him back in the 2 spot.
And that ball's hit very hard past Santana, past Ramirez. And Moustakas will dive into second base with a 1-out double.
There's some good fortune right there. I mean, to slice that ball, I mean, to smoke it in between the shift, that's going good. Hey, that's a good start for Moose, as he's hitting .285 in that number 2 hole this year for Ned with 8 home runs, and he's able to just get it by both defenders. Chisenhall, nice job of getting over there, but no chance. Moose at second base. The Royals have scored 100 runs even in the first innings this year. That's fourth best in Major League Baseball. Find a way to get to Kluber early.
And Kluber has not pitched for 2.5 weeks. He has been out with a hamstring problem. So he's been throwing to prepare for tonight, but he hasn't been throwing in games. And his pitch count is going to be somewhere around 80 or 85 tonight. Kendrys Morales has been held to 1 for 11 in the first 3 games of the series. And Gomes was going to try and throw down to second base, but Morales fouled it away.
Lindor might be trying to sneak in there and see if they can pick off Moose. Here's his pitch breakdown. Fastballs. Okay, cutter slider combination. That's what he just got Morales to swing over the top with. The previous pitch before that fastball. Doesn't use his changeup all that often, but he comes right at guys.
Strike 3 called. Morales is down on 3 straight pitches. 2 down.
Yep, little too close to take. Anything around that zone, especially with 2 strikes, and you got a runner in scoring position. Try to foul it off if you can. But that's a heck of a pitch. If Kluber gets that spot tonight, you'd hope Ventura does too.
And now another Royals hitter who has done well against Corey Kluber. And like Kendrys Morales, has just 1 hit so far in the series. Eric Hosmer. Three home runs, 12 driven in for Eric Hosmer. And on the topic of RBIs, with 1 more RBI against the Indians, either tonight or during the next homestand, and Eric Hosmer will tie the team record for RBIs in 1 season against Cleveland with 20. And Lindor dives, throws, and he bails out Kluber with another spectacular play at shortstop. Indians got some help last night. They picked up a game in the wild card. So 4 games back of the second spot, but they still have to pass the Angels, the Twins, and the Astros. And here is his lineup. And as we were talking about the Royals struggling lately to score runs, Terry Francona, over the past 3 weeks, his offense has been averaging about 5 runs per game, and that's exactly how many runs they scored last night. Kia puts us in the driver's seat, and looking at Yordano Ventura's numbers for this year. In his last 2 starts, his ERA is 6.55. In his career against Cleveland, good numbers. And that goes back to his big league debut. A little bit outside to Jason Kipnis, who will be the designated hitter tonight.
Ventura has a good opportunity here to right that ship as far as the rotation goes outside of Chris Medley. I like the fact that he's in 12 September starts in Yordano's career. He's 6-3. So he's a good, strong finisher. He has shown that in his past. Hopefully he could just get his pitches in there, execute him. He's got excellent stuff. Has a chance to really step up tonight for his team, and they need him.
Two and 2 on Kipnis. Ventura is making his second start this year against the Indians. Back at the end of April, he took a loss, giving up 5 earned runs in 5 1/3, and 3 of those runs came on a 3-run home run from Kipnis. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Kipnis has the ability to pull him, but he's pretty much a spray hitter. It's at where it's pitched. Challenge him here. See if you can blow him away.
Base hit center field, jumping on a 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Got to make him earn it. Nothing wrong with that. Kept it in the ballpark, but getting ahead is going to be important for him so he can execute his nice, nasty curveball and his changeup. But he's got to be able to get ahead of these guys. It's important for every pitcher.
And now Francisco Lindor, who just saved a run in the top of the first inning. He has had 3 very good defensive plays, 2 saving runs in this series, and he has driven in 5 at the plate. Here's what happened against Hosmer in the first.
Steady, under control. That ball gets by Lindor. That's a run for sure. Moose would have scored on that. Nice play.
Here's that curveball, and it's 0-2. Batting at .317, that leads all American League rookies. He has the 2nd best on base percentage among Major League rookies, and the 3rd best slugging percentage, which you would expect from a guy who's 5'11". 5 RBIs in this series, and the last time the Royals faced the Indians, he had 7 RBIs.
On the first pitch, he squared around a bunt, tried to bunt one. He's got 12 sacrifice bunts. That leads the American League, so he's got the ability to move those runners. You would hope, if you're the Royals, that he would have bunted there as hot as he's swinging the bat. But now he won't with 2 strikes. But he keeps his hands in a good low hitting position and nice level swing through the zone. Can't hit that.
That was the first at bat for Lindor against Yordano Ventura.
Yep. I don't know how many yackers he's seen like that before. Ventura, that's that wicked strikeout pitch that he possesses, especially when the hitter's looking for that 97, 98 mile-an-hour fastball.
So what's a hitter on a pitch like that? Is a hitter not picking up that it's a fastball, or they're not picking up how sharply they pick up it's a breaking ball, but not how sharply it's going to break down?
Exactly, especially when you face the guy for the first time. Now you watch him on video all you want, but when you step in the box, it's a whole different story. And you know, he's hot and he wants to swing. He wants to do some damage, so he took advantage of his aggressiveness.
And then a changeup on a first pitch to Brantley.
There's no question, Giordano, to win this game tonight, he's got to pitch. He can't throw. He's got to go out there and do what he's doing now, changing speeds with his pitches. He's got command with all of them. Hopefully he can execute.
Sal with a nice block. He keeps Kipnis at first base. The Indians have won 2 of the first 3 games of this series, and Michael Brantley has not driven in a run. Normally, if Cleveland's playing well against KC, Brantley is right in the middle of everything. Back with another changeup. 2 balls and 1 strike. A home run in 19 at bats for Brantley against Ventura to go along with his 6 hits.
It's almost like Miguel Cabrera. He's got good numbers against everybody. Well-rounded hitter.
Now to Escobar. Kipnis will stop at second base. So let's see if the Indians turn this into something. It's an error on Escobar. So the Indians make a very good play at shortstop in the top of the first, and the Royals make an error at shortstop in the bottom of the first.
That's unfortunate. That's exactly what Ventura wanted. He's induced 9 ground ball double plays this season, and that would have been the 10th. Escobar might have been thinking about getting rid of it before he caught it.
And now they stack the right side for Carlos Santana. Santana has 2 career home runs against Giordano Ventura. Two hits and 5 walks in this series for Santana. 1-1.
Well, you kind of wonder if Santana's falling into that on-base percentage. I'd like to have more walks and lead the league again this year instead of driving them in. That's what he's there for. Swing the bat.
Popped up. Infield fly rule is called. So 2 down. Here are the Royals defensively. Zobrist goes to left with Alex Gordon out. Gerard Dyson plays center with Lorenzo Cain out. Omar Infante starts for the first time on this road trip. Royals defense tonight is presented by Ford.
There you go. A little Dyson in center. Infante over there at second base. Mix it up some.
Well, if you go by the rule that you can't assume a double play, which I think is strange, but if you go with it, and the Royals only got 1 out on that ground ball from Brantley, then the inning should be over right now. So these are bonus outs for the Indians. What will they do with them? It's 2-0 on Chisenhall.
Royals have a great track record with their offense on exploiting the opponent's mistakes. Let's see what the Tribe can do. Ventura wants to pick up Escobar. Now it's going to take him a few more pitches because of the air, but got to pick each other up.
Out to Hosmer. So no harm with the air, although Ventura threw 22 pitches and he had to throw 7 more in the inning because of the air. No score at the end of 1. To the American League Division Series at Kauffman Stadium. Placing a 2016 season ticket deposit will guarantee you the right to purchase tickets to every potential ALDS game. This is the final opportunity for fans that are not currently season ticket members. Ticket availability will go very fast for this last chance offer. Royals at Royals.com or 816-504-4040. Salvador Perez has had a very good road trip at the plate, followed by Alex Rios, who has a little offensive surge, and then Omar Infante. 1-1 on Sal. On this trip, he has 9 hits, which includes 3 doubles and 5 RBIs through Baltimore and Cleveland. Two and 1. Pulled foul again. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
That corner down there is hot. It's been hot the whole 3 games. A lot of foul balls going right there in that spot. Heads up over there. Royals uncharacteristically striking out a lot in the previous 3 games. 30 strikeouts. That's a lot for a team that is the toughest to strike out in all of baseball. Get in the stands there.
Chisenhall will run out of room. Nice catch. No glove. With his Cleveland hat, his Cleveland t-shirt.
And he's doing a little play-by-play or a little commentating. He's telling the guy he saw it, didn't lose it in the twilight. Good focus. Held on, made the play.
Backing out of play. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Royals, I mentioned, have the least amount of strikeouts in Major League Baseball. 836 now with Morales' strikeout. And they put the ball in play, they pressure, and they like guys that throw strikes. Kluber is a guy who does that. So they should be able to hit him. And they have before this year in 29 innings. They've gotten 31 hits and 16 runs off of Kluber. They beat him earlier in the season, and they can do it again. You just got to stay on the aggressive side. Now, this is the kind of pitcher that you're not looking for a walk, so you know patience is something that the Royals offense doesn't show much of anyway. There you go. That's foul.
And we should point out the Indians strike out more hitters than any team in the American League, so that's their game. And you're right about Kluber. He is a combination of a pitcher who will strike out a lot and walk few. Broken bat. Urshela's at third base tonight. High throw, and Salvador is safe. And now the Royals get a break with an error.
Urshela had plenty of time. Looks like he goosed the throw. He didn't really throw it. He tried to guide it over there. So get down the line. Salvi, way to hustle.
And here's Alex Rios, who's hit safely in his last 7 games. Past Urshela and into left field, so make it 8 straight for Rios. And the Royals have 2 on with nobody out.
Nice to see Rios finally finding some holes. So far, both Royals hits were precision-like. Moose's was perfect by the first baseman and the second baseman. That one's placed perfectly in that hole there. They're in this little spell where the Royals have lost 9 of the last 13. They haven't had a lot of luck. Now they put the ball in play, and they've had some good defensive plays made against them. But you know, it's about luck. It's a little bit about luck, where you hit it, finding the holes. That's the mojo I was talking about last night. Find a little bit of luck, you know, get a little something going.
Thinking Infante will bunt. The corners are in, and he shows bunt and takes ball 1. Now, I'm not blaming the Royals' recent slide on bad luck. I mean, they've created some of their own problems. However, I will say during the slide, the Royals have had very little good luck.
There you go. That's a good way to put it.
And a lot of lineouts, a lot of plays being made by the opposing defense that the Royals aren't accustomed to seeing. Now Infante swings away and gone. Omar Infante playing in his first game on this trip. And he takes Corey Kluber deep. So an error, a single, and a 3-run home run that ends up outside of the ballpark. Infante hit it over the fence and through the gates to give the Royals a 3-0 lead.
You just gotta love it. Nice smile, Infante. You can't sneak a piece of cheese by a hungry rat. He's been waiting in that dugout for days to get an opportunity. We've seen him with pictures of him in the dugout with his bat in his hand. He can't wait, and he takes advantage of a mistake. 92 way up in, pulls his hands, met it perfectly. Hello. Royals take advantage again against the opponent's miscue.
Inside to Alcides Escobar. Well, the question came up very often as Alex Gordon was getting closer and closer to rejoining the Royals. Where would Ben Zobrist go? Would he be the second baseman, or would he be the right fielder with both Infante and Rios struggling? And the answer so far has been second base. Infante has gotten very little playing time. In his first swing on this trip, he hits a 3-run home run, and the Royals continue to pour it on. Alcides Escobar, who had been hitless in his last 12 at-bats, he's on with a single.
Well, we talked about in the open of our show tonight about internal competition and how that really stirs the team, and it's good. It's internal competition. And Infante's in there saying, hey, don't forget about me. And that's how you make a statement. The fact that Ned Yost made some adjustments in his rotation earlier today based on last performance and stuff, you know, they're watching these guys. They're going to go with the hot hand.
Can you use a home run ball as a ticket?
I don't know, but he got that before he even got in the ballpark.
Yeah, he was still in line trying to get in, and he had a souvenir.
Guy's thinking, hey, maybe this is my day.
I think that should be a rule. I think if you are standing outside the ballpark and you get a home run ball, that should be worth a ticket.
I agree,
right?
But he's got to prove to the ticket taker that he didn't bring that ball in, and he got it. So yeah, that would be a tough negotiation.
And now Dyson bunting, so trying to get Escobar to second base.
When I saw Infante square around in his first pitch when he was up, I thought that's a good idea. You got a guy coming off of a hamstring injury. Why not drop one down or two and get him to move off of that mound? Test him.
We're even a bunt for a base hit here, with the so-called worst case scenario being you move Escobar to second base. Best case scenario, Dyson gets on.
All right, stay on it and look for the top half of the ball if you're going to bunt.
Taken inside, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Okay, and for Gerard, he's so fast, he doesn't have to really square around late. He can square and just put it down, but make sure you get it down and use that speed and try to get Escobar to second base, and then possibly with a little base hit. Just a little bit of a squibber right here.
Bunts it back to Kluber, but not hard enough for a play at second base. It is close at first, and Escobar moves up to second with 1 down.
Okay, nice job. Didn't quite make Kluber move off the mound like he wanted to, but it's hard to bunt that ball where you want it all the time. And Dyson, man, he was really motoring down that line. Like to see that. Put that pressure on the defense. Keep it on them. Utilize your tools. That speed tool is one of the best you can have. Pressure defenses into making errors.
Ball one to Ben Zobrist, and I think Gomes may have been expecting something other than a breaking ball, so he's going to go talk it over with Kluber. Just making sure they're on the same page with what sign is the live sign. With a runner at second base, the catcher will go through a series of signs so that the runner at second can help the hitter. And they were not on the same page with that first pitch.
Zobrist, a .308 hitter with a runner in scoring position. Wants to keep the line moving.
Just inside, 2-0.
Again, Kluber's got a sinking fastball. He likes to try to sink it. 90 to 95, averages around 92, 93 miles an hour. Cutter, slider combination, curveball and changeup.
One hop to Santana. He'll go to the bag for the second out as Escobar goes to third. And that'll bring up Mike Moustakas, who hit a laser even with the shift on the right side. Both, well, actually hit it past 3 Indians. He hit it past Santana, the first baseman, Ramirez, the second baseman, and got it past the right fielder Chisenhall, or made Chisenhall field it late and deep, and Moustakas ended up with a 1-out double.
Now he's got that defense played a little bit more how he likes it, pretty much straight up.
Chisenhall in right field is there, and that's the inning. Royals have had very few big hits on this trip. This is one of them. Omar Infante, playing in his first game on this trip, hits a 3-run home run in the second inning. Omar Infante hits a 3-run home run against Corey Kluber, and the Royals lead 3-0. It's time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag KCDataStrongFan. You just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast, maybe even tonight. Hey, there's our fireworks guy back out on top of the parking garage after a 1-game suspension. Hashtag Casey Data Strong Fan, brought to you by T-Mobile. Abraham Almonte, Yan Gomes, Jose Ramirez coming up for Cleveland in the 2nd inning. Ventura got around a single and an error in the bottom of the 1st. And strike 1 to Almonte. Just 1 for 12 in this series. Oh and 2.
There you go. 0-2. 0-1. Working ahead. And I know that Almonte in the back of his mind saw what he did to Lindor with those curveballs, and he's thinking about that pitch. But if you think too much about that one, you'll swing and miss it.
And when you know a guy has a wicked curveball like Ventura, will you swing at more borderline fastballs that you may not otherwise swing at?
Oh, absolutely. And I'm looking early in the count. Hitters look early for the heater. Taking the chance.
Back to back breaking balls.
You're gonna battle that baby there. But what's so good about the depth that he has on that curveball is that he comes out of the same plane as that fastball, so that he can get some high strikes with his 4-seamer up. Get some guys to swing underneath it.
.98 and very wild. 2-2.
The key for Ventura this inning, and you know, you hope he doesn't have to expend a lot of pitches, is that after your team gives you 3 runs, don't let them back in at all. Just go right after them and make them put the ball in play and get out of the inning. Keep the momentum in your dugout.
Sal with a very low target. It stays up. Almonte bounces it off the plate. Perez calls off Yordano Ventura, knowing he had a better angle, and made that play more like a shortstop than he did a catcher.
Well, Salvador was convinced the curveball. He put it down once. Ventura shook and he's put it down again. And now Ventura wants the ball. He's calling for it. He's saying, I got it, I got it. And Salvi just took it from him. Nice play. You see how Salvi stayed on top of this throw? Watch him in his short arm swing. Look at that, short and compact. That's how you get the ball there straight and quickly. Kyle's got a kick out of it. Now Ventura did the right thing. Got out of the way. Salvi has the momentum. It would have been a much tougher play for Ventura had he caught that ball to throw it. Ventura's an aggressive competitor, and you know how he loves to bounce around that mound and take sometimes balls that aren't his. Good example, but it worked.
Ball 1 to Yan Gomes. Shallow right, and Rios is there for the 2nd out.
All right, let's watch this replay again in real time. Listen.
Ventura, yelling at each other.
Yeah, Ventura yelled first, and Salvi said, no.
Now a quick pitch, and Ramirez was ready for it. He singles to right field. Jose Ramirez, and that's his first career hit against Yordano Ventura. Bring up a very motivated Giovanni Urshela. Motivated because in the Royals' 3-run 2nd inning, it started with his throwing error on a ground ball from Salvador Perez, then a ground ball from Rios that was a base hit that got past Urshela, and then after the Infante home run, another ground ball base hit past Urshela. That was from Escobar. Of Ventura, and Moustakas was deep on the left side. Ventura appears to be all right. We'll see if Ned Yost and one of the Royals trainers will go out there to check.
Salvi motion for him to come out. Just have a little check. Doesn't hurt to check.
Kyle Turner, Royals trainer, out there with Ned Yost.
Luckett got him on his right foot.
Kyle and Ned Yost didn't even require Ventura to throw one pitch.
Hit him high on the ankle. Well, it helped too that Ventura picked his foot up. It was already kind of given before the ball hit him, so that absorbed a little bit of the blow by moving his foot back.
So the Indians get a pair of hits with 2 outs. And here's Jason Kipnis, who already has a hit tonight. Good fastball in on his hands, 0-1. Just 3 for 14 in the series. One of those hits is a home run. His 8th of the year. And line to left field, one hop to Zobrist. Runner sent to the plate, and the ball gets by Perez, and Ventura's not backing up the plate.
Anytime there's a base hit with runner in scoring position, the pitcher always has to back up, and they do it for a reason. That's a good swing there. He wasn't trying to do too much. He's just trying to lay it out there. Zobrist, he waited back, didn't want to try to dive. Throw was a little bit high, and it's off the mark. Salvi tried a pick and tag. It really was no chance, but there's nobody backing up, and another run scored.
So it's a single, 1 RBI, second run scoring on an error 7, and there was some hesitation with Ramirez, the first runner, and third base coach Mike Sarbaugh as to whether he was going to go or not. So a good throw would have gotten him, and then the error getting another run to the plate. So the Indians are right back in it. The Royals get 3 in the top of the second. The Indians get 2 in the bottom half.
Island's right back in it. Dave Island had a little chat with Salvi and also with Giordano Ventura. And Dave Island, what he's telling him is take some deep breaths and calm down. Just whenever you get a situation like you're in, just slow the game down and try not to move too quick. You know, he knows he should have been backing up home there.
Strike to Kendrys Morales. Kluber struck him out on 3 straight pitches in the first inning. Strike 3 looked a little low, but as Hud pointed out, too close to take with 2 strikes. And now it's 0-2, so Kluber's thrown him 5 straight strikes. Morales is moving up on a couple of career highs. He has 7 RBIs from his career high from 2009. 2 doubles away from his career high. And if you go back to 2006, only 3 other DHs, well really 2, because Ortiz did it twice. Billy Butler once, have had more doubles from the designated hitter spot. And Kluber twice has struck out Kendrys Morales. 1 down to begin the top of the 3rd. And those are Kluber's only strikeouts tonight. Our Toyota League leaders for tonight. Lowest opponent's batting average in the American League. Cleveland Indians. Their starting rotation has a lot of talent, a lot of firepower. They lead the league in strikeouts and have the lowest opponent's batting average. The league becomes a collective 236 against the Indian starters. There's a good cutting fastball in for a strike to Hosmer.
Kluber knows in order to take care of the Royals offense, he's got to mix in his secondary pitches, and he's doing that. He's got good command. Former Cy Young Award winner. You have that award, you can pitch with all of them.
Pounded foul, 0-2. But the Royals with 3 runs in the second inning. They've done well against Kluber this year. 5 starts, 16 earned runs. Last year in 31 in the 3rd inning. So basically the same amount of innings he's pitched this year. The Royals had 4 earned runs. So the Royals, in what they weren't able to do against Kluber last year, helped him win the Cy Young. But the Royals have already beaten him 3 times this season. Two and 2. Boy, he can put you to sleep, can he, when he's pitching out of the windup? So slow and easy and deliberate.
Yep, he's got a good idea, good game plan. And Yan Gomes, remember, in those early starts this year, Gomes was not there, and he's his catcher. And so there was a little talk about Yan Gomes, the fact that he was injured and out. Kluber was having a hard time adjusting to their other catcher.
Gomes was out with a knee injury early in the season. Eric Hosmer, if you're looking for signs that he's going to break out, well, don't look at his batting average on this trip. He's just 2 for 22, but he's walked 5 times. So getting a better feel for the strike zone. Down on strikes here. He had a bullet against Kluber in the first inning. So Kluber has struck out 3. And there are 2 down in the 3rd inning.
Boy, that's a nice little cutter right there. And that Haas trying to pull it. And that's what all you got. You know, you're going to try to pull a pitch like that. Just missed it. Good pitch.
Salvador Perez got the 2nd inning going. He reached on a throwing error by the 3rd baseman Urshela, and he and Alex Rios scored on the Infante 3-run home run. Down and away, ball one. One ball, one strike. Fastball at 91. 1-2.
Yeah, so far, we're not seeing some high reads on his fastball. And, you know, this is the time of the season where you got 200 innings in, you're not going to have a full gas tank. But he's effective enough at 92, 93 with the way he can move that ball around with the secondary pitches.
And he's been out for 2.5 weeks, so maybe he doesn't have the greatest of arm strength right now. He strikes out the side, all with his breaking ball. 4 strikeouts in 3 innings for Corey Kluber.
Injury report takes us to a big game between the Cubs and the Pirates. Check this out, guys. Chris Coghlan, trying to break up a double play, is going to take out Jung Ho Kang. Now, it wasn't high spikes, but boy, you watch that again. He absolutely went out of his way, and I'll be curious to hear what Rex has to say about that. Hard baseball. They had a chance. He led off an inning, Coghlan, a little bit later in the game, and they didn't throw at him. They just struck him out. The Cubs won this game. The Pirates lose a key piece to the middle of the infield, and the final score in the game was 9-6. In all likelihood, a preview of the wild card game. But bad injury, knee injury for Kang, as the Pirates now lead the Cubs by 2 games. So that'll determine home field advantage unless anyone can catch the Cardinals. Hud, what did you think?
Well, that's between the wickets. That's what I think right there. But still, the injury, you know, the shortstop, it's different when you're turning the ball. You see the runner in your peripheral vision. You got to clear yourself. You got to get that left foot out there. That's the one you're going to throw on, that left leg. You got to clear it. You got to clear yourself totally. And then when you see that runner in front of you, you got to get up off of that foot. That's all there is to it. And that happens if you're, you know, Gung's not a typical shortstop. See, now he's got to clear himself further. He didn't take a step out. Now there's nothing wrong with the slide. He got his hand on the base. So look, you can see that runner in front of you. That's on the shortstop. It's not the runner's fault.
Tell you what, Coghlan's lucky he didn't have the groin ripped off of his left or his right leg.
Well, the Cubs made out guys better than the Pirates in that one. Gong reportedly out for the year with a fractured tibia and a torn MCL.
Wow. So he got his leg and his knee. It's been a bad night for the Royals defensively, just as an Indians fan makes the play with his hat. The Royals have committed 2 errors already, and Yordano Ventura failed to back up a throw to the plate, which resulted in another error. So 3 errors. Escobar had an error in the first inning. Ventura was able to cover that, and then Ventura not backing up home plate in the second inning led to a second run, and now the Indians have the leadoff man on an error by Infante in the third. Two and 2 on Santana. He popped out to third in the first inning. Back to Ventura. Perez tells him the play is at first. Santana's out, and Brantley, who reached on the air, he's reached on an error twice tonight, is at second base. Well, Royals fans, it's time to celebrate you. Join us for Fan Appreciation Night presented by Sprint. That's next Saturday, the 26th, as the Royals will host the Indians. The night will feature games, giveaways, and great prizes. Plus, the first 10,000 fans receive a Royals knit stocking cap, courtesy of Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. Tickets at Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS. And this time of year in Cleveland could very well be knit stocking cap weather. We have had 4 great days. In fact, game time temperature tonight was 78 degrees. There's been almost no wind the entire 4 days. Chisenhall grounded out to Hosmer his first time. And now ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. And the Royals will fly not far from here after the game. They'll go to Detroit. 3-0 on Chisenhall. Pitch walk. Ventura's first walk tonight. Royals have made 1 good defensive play tonight, and that was on Abraham Almonte, who comes up with 2 on 1 out. With a little chopper in between the mound and home plate, and Salvador Perez made a play that you typically expect from a middle infielder, not from a catcher, to throw at Almonte. Back to Ventura. He looked at second, but he'll take the out at first. 2 down. Brantley goes to third, and Chisenhall goes to second.
That's a wise play right there. You can tell by the last 2 balls that he's jumped off that mound on. He wants more than 1. But you throw that ball away there, it's a tie game. So take the out. That's the second out. Now look, he wants that double play, but no. So that's part of Dave Island talking to him in there about just slowing things down, slow down, and just get the out you can get. Try to force anything.
So this is bonus time. Infante makes the play. The inning is over. And Gomes comes up with 2 runners in scoring position. And both of those runners are gifts. 1 on an error, 1 on a walk. Gomes lined out to Rios in right field in the second inning. Center field, Dyson is there. So for the second time in 3 innings, Ventura works around an error, and the Indians lead 2. Is brought to you by Panera Bread. Avoid the lines. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Jeep. Get a great deal on a legendary Jeep brand vehicle at the Jeep Celebration event. (3-2) Royals. All the runs scored in the second inning. Alex Rios scored one of the 3 in the Royals' second on an Omar Infante 3-run home run. Rios singled in that inning and has hit safely in 8 straight games. Got his average up to 261. That was his swing. Jeff Nelson is the first base umpire. 1 ball, 1 strike. That is a fair ball in a 2-hit game for Rios. Brantley got a nice carom off the side wall, but then he lost his balance, so he'll throw it to third, and Rios is on with a leadoff double.
Nice. Rios, he's looking to pull. There's no question about it, and that's a pitch he should pull. Okay, so he's staying on it. Hooked it right by the bag. Ball boy doing a nice job getting out of the way.
And here's Infante, who looked like he was going to bunt in the second inning. Showed bunt and took the pitch for a ball, and then was swinging away and hit a 3-run home run. And again showing bunt and takes ball 1. So now he's going to hit a 2-run home run, right?
And you never know. Once you show bunt, that pitcher says, okay, I'm going to give you my fastball then, because that's the hardest pitch to bunt. So maybe he pull his hands back in and go for it. Or you know what, if he can do a successful bunt, that's okay too.
And that's outside. He did not offer at it. 2-0. It was just the second home run of the year for Infante.
But it was out of nowhere too. And it's like the home run Rios hit earlier in the series. It was obviously a mistake Rios hit off of Tomlin, and a very similar pitch to So Infante is able to just barrel it with a nice easy swing.
Takes a strike. Snap throw back to second base. And Lindor thinks that he tagged out Rios, who went in standing and not sliding. So he asked the dugout to take another look.
Nope, kept his foot on the base. But he stepped on Lindor when he was doing it. And that's what Lindor was thinking. That he never touched the base. He was on his foot.
2-1 on Infante, who was not bunting on the last pitch, and again showing bunt, gets a good one down. Kluber will throw him out. And Rios goes to third. Live the legend and bring the whole family out to the Kansas City Renaissance Festival. Experience the all-new zip line and daily craft beer tastings. It's open every weekend from now through October 18th plus Columbus Day. Discount tickets and more are available at kcrenfest.com. Kyle Crockett begins to throw in the Indians bullpen. Kluber's at 51 pitches. Terry Francona hinted that 80 to 85 would be the limit for Kluber, who has not pitched in the last 2.5 weeks with a right hamstring strain. One on Escobar. He singled his first time up. Batting now with a runner at third, one out, and the Indians have the infield in.
Stay aggressive. It's a good idea. The infield's in. Short, compact swing. Aim for the middle. They're playing him to the opposite field. Just get the job done. That's what the sacrifice bunt's all about. Getting that runner over there with a less than 2.
Got the call and a slider. 0-2.
Whether it's a fastball, slider, changeup, they're all thrown for strikes. So you can go up there and be aggressive on this guy.
Just missed down and away. Gomes wanted it to be a strike, and he held it out there so Chris Guccione could get a long look at it. Two and two. Escobar had been hitless in 12 straight at bats before his single in the second inning.
You can't get called out looking. Anything close, you got to be swinging.
Little pop up. Ramirez will take care of it. 2 down with Rios at third. Gerard Dyson is coming up, and we go to Joel.
You know, I was watching guys, Gerard Dyson and Mike Aviles, talking for a while during batting practice, and it dawned on me that these are two of the more talkative Royals or former Royals that I've dealt with in a long time. So I started polling some players and coaches about who talks more. I mean, truthfully, these are two guys that are known for never shutting up, if you really want to be honest about it. Eric Hosmer, one of Gerard Dyson's best friends, said, "Oh, Dyson, absolutely." Mike Moustakas said, "Flip a coin, but if you're playing third base here in Cleveland by the third base dugout, it's Mike Aviles, because he doesn't stop all game long wearing me out talking trash the whole time." Danny Duffy said, "It's Dyson, but Mike Aviles has more substance." Mike Jershely, who managed both in AAA, said Dyson, but it's close. And Alex Gordon said, "Oh, it's absolutely Dyson, but he speaks gibberish. You can understand at least what Mike is saying." By the way, both guys chose each other.
Really? They didn't point the finger at the other guy, huh? Okay. So they are self-aware, if anything. Now Dyson needs to let his bat do the talking with a runner at third, 2 down. And he almost does. Almost squibbed it past Urshela. Dyson dropped down a sac bunt his first time up. Rios led off the inning with a double. Infante bunted him to third. And Escobar popped out. And now the Royals need a hit to get a runner home, or maybe a wild pitch.
The corners are in. They're expecting it. It's possible that Dyson could try to bunt to get him home, but that opens up lanes to hit it by him.
Very high. 1 ball, 1 strike. Kluber does have 6 wild pitches this season. That's been his best pitch tonight. 1-2.
Yep, that cutter's working on all lefties, and he's locating it perfectly.
Two balls, 2 strikes. Five strikeouts for Kluber in 4 innings, and the Royals waste the leadoff double. Images we will never forget. Non-stop action, heart-pounding excitement, historic performances. Don't miss the 2015 postseason beginning October 6th. Go to MLB.com/postseason for a full schedule. Royals lead 3-2. Royals have committed 3 errors in the first 3 innings. Jose Ramirez leads off. He's playing at second base tonight. Jason Kipnis is the DH. And with 2 outs and nobody on in the second inning, Ramirez singled. And that was the beginning of what became a 2-run inning. Ramirez singled, Urshela singled. Kipnis singled. 1 run scored on the base hit. Another run scored on an error. And the Royals' 3-0 lead became a 3-2 lead. 2-1 on Jose Ramirez. Salvador maybe got a little perspiration in his eye. DraftKings shows us the players to watch. Yordano Ventura on the list. 3 innings, 1 earned run so far. Go to DraftKings.com. Enter the promo code BRoyal. Play daily fantasy baseball for free. Hit well, right field, hooking to the corner, and just foul.
A little bit too much top hand on that one. It's a good thing for Ventura. Still 3-2. Your 8th hitter in the lineup. Challenge him. Go right after it.
Broken bat, and it'll drop in front of Dyson. Gets that ball solid. It's a fly ball to center field. And Ramirez is 2 for 2. And the Indians have the leadoff man on for the 3rd time in 4 innings.
It's all about getting ahead. Get ahead, he can execute that big curveball. He's got to get in there, strike 1.
So Ventura spent most of the night pitching out of the stretch. And now Giovanni Urshela. On a fastball and fouls it away. Salvador Perez points his glove to Ventura, saying that's the way we want it. He singled and scored in the Indians' 2-run 2nd inning. He scored the error, or the run rather, after the throwing error by Zobrist. 1-1. Two balls, 1 strike. Urshela's feeling a little better. It was his throwing error on a routine ground ball from Salvador Perez in the top of the 2nd inning that set up the Royals' 3-run 2nd inning. Now he's chipped in with a base hit and a run scored. And now he's ahead in the count, 3 balls and 1 strike. So Ventura has fallen behind the first 2 hitters in this inning, 3-1.
Ventura a little bit excitable tonight. A little bit more body language than we're used to seeing it.
Off of Sal's mask, and the bat went flying. Rolling along the top of the Indians dugout, and Francisco Lindor ends up with it.
Cameraman, he ducked just in time. Salvi looked like he got the foul ball.
Did he get the mask, or did he get his right arm?
Oh, I was busy watching that bat.
I thought he got him on the mask. Shoulder, maybe the collarbone.
Yep. Right off of that pad on his shoulder, but you know, the pad, it helps a little. But at that velocity, doesn't help much. Let's take a look at the bat. They'll have to check that camera out. Everybody's ducking. I saw something fall off that camera. Everybody's all right.
Now Ventura being bothered by some gnats.
Okay, body language coming off the mound after that last inning is a little bit of anxiety there. He's even telling himself to calm down, slow down. He's a little bit hyped up. Very competitive, high energy guy. 3 great pitches. You got to be able to harness that mentality to harness those pitches.
He's not trying to eat those bugs. Those are midges. Another close play at first base. And with Jabba Chamberlain with the Royals, remember a few years ago he was pitching for the Yankees and was attacked by a swarm of midges. Remember that?
Yeah,
I want to say they even had to stop the game for a while.
Oh, it was unbearable. It was incredible. I don't know. That's been several years ago, I think. But it was quite the scene. Stay down in the zone here. Don't worry if the runner goes. Get that hitter.
Not going. Struck him out.
Yeah.
Good fastball at 95. 1 down. That's Giordano's second strikeout tonight.
Beautifully executed fastball. Straight downhill. Had a little bit of run on the inner half. That's what you do when you have that type of fastball.
Let's see if Ventura can get Jason Kipnis, who is 2 for 2. 2 singles. He's driven in a run.
Kipnis has only grounded into 5 double plays this year. Ventura would like one here.
Line foul off the tarp. We had a nice chat with Kipnis before the game tonight. We both had questions for him. Hey, there's Travis Hafner taking it an Indians game tonight.
Well, the Bronc.
Really interesting guy to talk to, Jason Kipnis. Ramirez runs, and that is pulled foul, and it's 0-2. The Indians were trying a hit and run. You finally got an answer as to why Kipnis wears high tops, which we can't see tonight because he's got the pant legs pulled down around his ankles.
Yeah, you know, we don't see a lot of position players wear high tops, or even pitchers for that matter. And in game 1, he had his stirrups showing, and we could see him. And he said it's all about the comfort. Oh, beauty.
3-pitch strikeout. Ventura struck out 2 in the inning. He gets Kipnis out for the first time tonight. 2 down.
Going with that breaker, starts out belt high, ends up around the ankles. High tops or not, you're not hitting that one.
Two down to Francisco Lindor, who is 0 for 2. Ventura got him with a curveball in the first inning, and then he grounded out in the second. But he has already made a contribution tonight. Lindor made a diving stop on a shot by Hosmer in the first inning, which saved a run. A curveball that stayed up, and he pounded it foul. 0-1.
Heavy on the curveballs to Lindor. Can't blame him. Anything straight out over the middle of the plate, he's been squaring it up.
location and just missed.
Oh, we talked about his plate discipline. It's amazing for 21 years old. That's a good pitch there. Not given to him by Guccione. This is very good plate discipline, which is unusual. A lot of guys want to swing, swing, swing.
Again, and Ventura shows both body language frustration and vocal frustration at home plate umpire Chris Guccione. Salvador Perez is going to go out and try and put that fire out right away.
Well, that's back-to-back spots that could have went either way, and that one for sure was a good pitch. That's where you want to tie him up. You don't want to leave anything out there, and that's a little bit too much verbal body language there. You don't want to get Guccione not giving you those borderlines. I mean, you may not get any more the rest of the night.
And then Salvador Perez becomes diplomat, talking to Yordano Ventura, and then coming back and talking to Guccione and making sure he's not offended. Base hit center field. One hop to Dyson. Ramirez stops at second base. And Ventura again, even though there was no throw to third base, Eric Hosmer immediately goes to talk to him. He did not go to back up third base. Had Ramirez rounded second and goes to third. The pitcher, that's his responsibility, and he was standing there watching the play. Dave Island comes out trying to get his focus back to the game. Eric Hosmer, same thing.
Yep, clean base hit. Obviously Ventura wasn't expecting him to go to third, but you know, you see him, he's rushing towards second base. He's just a little bit high strung this evening. Sometimes that can backfire on you. He needs to focus here. He's in territory with some pretty good hitters, especially Brantley coming in hitting .321 with a runner in scoring position. And you don't want to take Ventura's fire away and his competitiveness, but he's done such a good job after that first couple of months of the season where he got through some of those emotional times. But you still have to be able to harness yourself and your emotions and your body language, because hitters read all of that, and so do umpires. Usually it's not good when you show emotion.
Brantley and the Indians have really struggled in this situation. 2 outs with runners in scoring position. And that's a little bit inside. Wow.
Man, yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. You show an umpire up like that, and you're not going to get any more of those. And that was a good pitch, right where he wants to put that. Fall
But
behind.
if that's right, Hud, the umpire has to be the bigger person. I mean, if he missed a pitch, sure, it's nice if Yordano Ventura doesn't show him up, but he missed the pitch. I mean, he has to be the bigger person and not say, well, all right, show me up like that. I mean, this is an important game, right?
You would hope that umpires think that way, but I'm just telling you, sometimes you get on their nerves and they get a little attitude.
Well, then they're not doing their job.
You would hope that we would hold that against him. That'll work.
Big break. That was a 3-0 pitch.
Thank you.
Stockus makes the play. Ventura best not look to his right as he heads to the first base dugout. No harm done. Royals still lead 3-2. Kyle Crockett comes on for the top of the 5th inning. Corey Kluber had been out for 18 days with a right hamstring strain, so he was on a limited pitch count. So Crockett on for the 26th time to get the Royals top of the order with Casey in front 3-2.
This young man has a nice live arm. Tall, slender, a lot of moving parts. He's got a nice fastball. He'll go 88 to 93, slider change.
Ben Zobrist will bat right-handed for the first time tonight. Ben is 0 for 2. Zobrist, Moustakas, who's batting second tonight, and then Morales, who's batting third. That with Alex Gordon and Lorenzo Cain getting the night off. Ben is flied to left and grounded to first. One ball, one strike. Does a good job, at least in the first 3 pitches of Zobrist, at keeping everything at the knees or lower.
Got a little 3/4 arm slot. See this season what Zobrist is doing a little bit more from the right side, average wise.
Gomes throws down, and Santana had to stretch into foul territory to complete the strikeout. One down in the top of the 5th. You can help area kids play baseball by coming out to Gloves for Kids. We'll be out at Kansas Sampler Oak Park on Monday. If you donate $25 toward the purchase of baseball equipment, you can take part in an autograph session from 5:30 to 6:30 featuring select Royals players. If you'd like more information, check out Royals.com/Gloves for Kids. Inside to Mike Moustakas, Ned Yost, Paulo Orlando, Drew Butera, Danny Duffy, Terrence Gore, Christian Colon, Chesler Cuthbert, Lewis Coleman,
20,
perhaps a couple others.
Yeah, $25 for all those guys' autographs.
Yeah, autographs.
And to buy some equipment for kids.
Maybe get your picture taken with one or more of the guys.
It's a great opportunity, folks. Get down and close with the players. You don't get that opportunity very often.
2-1 on Moustakas. There's a couple of guys who were gracious enough to join us last year and said absolutely when I asked them if they'd join us this year. Three and one on Moustakas, who has doubled and flied to right.
We talked about the great improvements that Moose has made this year, and one of those is hitting against southpaws. It's 263. 7 he's got 7 home runs, and he'll take the walk.
Morales is glad that Kluber's out. Kluber struck him out twice, both times with breaking balls down.
Took some early fastballs. Kluber was throwing strikes again tonight. Now we'll see here. He can make an adjustment off of Crockett. Crockett looks like he's staying middle away. He's not trying to come in on any righties.
In the dirt for ball one. Similar to Zobrist, better average from this side of the plate, more production from the other side, although that's because he has a lot more at bats as a left-hand hitter. Indians have pitched him well. Morales is 1 for 13 in this series, and with 101 RBIs on the year, he has yet to drive in a run on this road trip.
just got a couple of singles in this series.
There's a base hit into left field. Moustakas put on the brakes at second base, and the Royals have 2 on with 1 out.
Hey, Crockett hadn't come inside with that fastball until this pitch here. Gomes wanted it away, and he got it in, and Morales was able to muscle it over the shortstop's head. Good compact stroke. Good level swing.
Two on for Eric Hosmer. He lost a hit and an RBI on a diving play at short by Lindor in the first inning, and then Kluber struck him out in the third. Way outside for ball 1.
Crockett looks like he's having a little bit of footing issues out there. He keeps looking down at the mound. He doesn't look as confident as he did when he came into the first game of the series. You get a big hit off of this young man, and Francona's going to get some action up in their bullpen. Got to get a big hit.
Fouled out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike.
And it's not overpowering as Crockett is. He's got to really be able to hit his spots, and if he misses, you got to let him know.
Up the left field line, slicing away from Brantley, and that is up against the wall. Moustakas scores, Morales stops at third, and Eric Hosmer ties a Royals record with 20 RBIs in 1 season against the Cleveland Indians. And the Royals increase their lead to 4-2.
Great approach on his 29th double. He's waiting. That ball was up and actually in the middle part of the plate. This is great to see. Haas starts getting base hits to left field. Watch out, here he comes. Along with the walks that he's been getting, he's getting more confident. He's seeing more pitches, and this is what it's going to take to get him going good. And Crockett, you got to go.
Crockett started the inning with a strikeout. Vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com. You'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House.
All right, let's check out Hosmer. Good base here. He's got a nice hitting base. He's comfortable. He's got that little flamingo leg kick, but he sets it down in the right spot every time. Now his hands are important because he's pulling them in. You see his elbows bent right here. He's been able to pull his hands in and shoot that ball to the opposite field. That's really nice technique by Haas. Hopefully that gets him going.
And an RBI spot for Salvador Perez. Second and third, one out. And Manship's curveball is high.
He likes to sink his fastball. You see what he's done, you know, in 32 and a third. Only a $160 is what the opponents are hitting on him, but he mixes them up. Sinker 88 to 94.
Lindor. Who else? That ball's hit hard by Salvador Perez. 2 down.
Yeah, he picked out a fastball there. Big curve, changeup, got a good slider too, Manship.
So second and third, 2 down to Alex Rios, who already has 2 hits tonight. And he has scored a run, and now he's hit safely in 8 straight. Manship pitched in game 1. He pitched the last inning in the third and struck out 2. One of those strikeouts was against Rios. Rios has 1 hit in 5 at-bats against Manship, and that 1 hit was a home run.
How about a doinker? That'll work.
Did he go? No. Omar Infante is on deck. Three and 1.
Okay, when you're going good and you're hot like Rios is, he's saying right now, good, thank you. I want to hit you. Come back in there again. I don't know if he'll throw a straight one. That was a good hard sinker there. Might try to stay with the sinker.
Inside to load him up for Infante. It's 2 walks in the inning for Indians pitchers, and the first walk turned into a run. And now it's Infante and Manship. Omar Infante hit a 3-run home run in the second inning, our Dodge drive of the game.
Kluber didn't make many mistakes, but that was a huge one. A 3-run bomb. That's a large one, and the ball left the building. 1 hop out of the yard here at Progressive Field. That really helped Ventura. Hopefully they can hold it.
Outside, ball 1.
Infante with him loaded up this year. 4 for 7, 2 doubles. He's been a clutch hitter with him loaded.
Base hit left field. He comes through again, and Omar Infante has driven in 5 runs. Rios beats the throw to third. Infante goes to second. And Omar Infante had not played in a single game on this trip. Ned Yost puts him in there tonight, and he has 5 of the 6 RBIs.
That's how you draw that manager's pin, by production. And with him loaded, after seeing those numbers, what he's done with him loaded up this year, I knew he was coming through with another fastball as a sinker, and it sunk right down into left field. Clutch. 2-run single. That's exactly what Infante wants, that job back. Good job by Rios advancing on third base on Brantley right there. Keeping the pressure on him with 2 outs. That'll give Ventura and the bullpen a little bit more breathing room. That's what you need. That offense coming through with some clutch hits. Of course, you know, we know how they love to hit with 2 outs, and they're keeping it going here. Breaks the opponent's morale.
And now chance for Escobar to come up with a big hit. He has the same situation Infante does. 2nd and 3rd, 2 down. Escobar is 1 for 2. His 2nd inning single snapped a personal 0 for 12. Fastball for strike 1.
Escobar's done a nice job with runners in scoring position this year. His 284, that's a good number.
On the ground to Urshela, who already has a throwing error tonight. That one a little more on target. Escobar is out. Royals get 2 big hits in the 5th inning. Eric Hosmer drives in 1 with a double, and with 2 down, Infante drives in 2 with a single. Baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. Wow. Speaking of, here's Joel.
Not sure how to follow that, but we'll give it a try as the Royals with the 6-2 lead. Now looking to play a little defense. Ben Zobrist out in left field. And the story of how his career has evolved was an interesting one. We've talked about Joe Madden giving him that chance to be a utility guy. But back in 2006, a scout by the name of Donnie Williams for the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time was sent on a mission to go find a player from the Astros AA system by the Devil Rays GM. Donnie is now in his 8th year as a senior advisor to general manager Dayton Moore with the Royals. But at that point, the Astros were looking for a left-handed power hitter. The Devil Rays were out of it and looking to shop Aubrey Huff. So they sent Donnie to Houston to scout AA. Well, the best player on that team was Hunter Pence. He wasn't going anywhere. He was untouchable at that point. And Donnie came back and said, I like a pitcher by the name of Mitch Talbot. Could be a 3 or a 4 type. And I like a guy by the name of Ben Zobrist.
Santana will have a leadoff double in the bottom of the 5th inning.
So he recommends Ben Zobrist with the thought that if he can hit, he could be an everyday starter. If not, likes him as a utility guy. So Talbot and Zobrist went over to Tampa Bay. Zobrist becomes an all-star, and all these years later, after that trade on July 12th, 2006, he and Donnie Williams are now in the Royals organization.
Another example how life many times comes full circle.
Gotta love it. It's a close-knit family, the game of baseball.
Going back a little bit further with Donnie Williams. He and Dayton Moore worked together in the Atlanta Braves organization. Also worked with the San Diego Padres. Going back to their first year, 1969, also the first year for the Royals. Donnie Williams signed with the Brooklyn Dodgers at the age of 17 out of high school back in 1956.
Wow.
He's here with Dayton.
Sure does help to have that type of knowledge around you.
Fastball right by Chisenhall at 96. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Stay with it. 4-run lead. Stay ahead of the hitters. Finish them off with that nice yak curveball.
Back right with it.
Yeah, didn't need the curve. You got that kind of hair on your fastball like that, man. You use it, challenge him, especially with this lead. That's a beautiful pitch. And sometimes when you get hit, in Duffy's case last night, when Lindor, the second hitter of the game, took him deep on his fastball, all of a sudden Duffy went away from it. And that was the cause of some of his troubles. Didn't trust his fastball. Got beat by one, but you know, it's just a solo shot.
One hop to Rios in right field. And in a 4-run game, Santana will be held at third. Abraham Almonte has his first hit. Runners at the corners with 1 out. Pitchers in every inning are going for a 1-2-3 inning, and yet there are some innings that are more important than others to go 1-2-3, and this would have been one. It's a changeup down and away. Right after the Royals got 3 in the top of the 5th inning. Bonaventura, probably more than any other inning tonight, would like to have gotten the Indians 1-2-3, get the Royals back in the dugout. But now Yan Gomes comes to the plate with 2 on and 1 out. Gomes has already lined to right against Ventura and flied out to center field.
Ventura hasn't rolled up a double play tonight. This would be a good time for one.
Fouled away, 0-1. Hit him. And now the tying run comes to the plate. Dave Island will take another trip to the mound.
Ninth hit batter of the year for Ventura.
Jose Ramirez has 2 hits already. He has singled to right and singled to center against Ventura and has scored a run. And a chance for 2. Infante, Escobar, hard slide, safe at first base, and a run scores. That's one way for a hitter that is plunked by a pitch to get back at that team. And a hard slide by Gomes into Alcides Escobar prevented a double play. Now it's 6-3.
Escobar, he gets up off of his feet. He knows Gomes is coming, but watch how quickly he gets off of his feet. See, that's what Gong of the Pittsburgh Pirates did not do. He didn't get up off his feet, and when your legs planted on the ground, your cleats, and that runner slides into you. Only one thing that can give, and usually it's the knee.
Urshela missed badly in a curveball. 0-1. It takes so much more athleticism than we probably give it credit to have your feet underneath you 1 second so that you can get a good throw, but then the next second being very light on your feet. Yeah, and not try start that jump too soon and then you lose something on your throw.
That's right. But Escobar's blessed with a good arm, but also the momentum that you have going towards first base, that helps you with the throw once you get off your feet. Watch him here now. And he's going to get up, and see how his body momentum is going towards first. That always helps on the throw. Ramirez runs really well. So that was a nice turn by Escobar.
Off the end of the bat, 1-2 on Urshela. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored.
Yeah, good finish on the breaking ball, not in the middle of the plate. He struck him out his last at bat on a nice two-seam fastball on the inner half. Salvi's calling for it up here.
And it's up and away. Not close enough to be tempting for Urshela. And he pitches for Ventura in 4 2/3 innings. And as we've been pointing out in this series, some of that is Royals pitching, some of that is Indians hitting. They have the second most walks in the league, so they're used to working a lot of deep counts. They'll typically chase a lot of pitches out of the strike zone, so if the pitcher doesn't have his best control on a given night, the Indians aren't going to be helping him out. Ramirez will be running from first. And Urshela, that curveball stayed up. He had a pretty good swing at it. Still 3-2.
He did. He just lost his footing. But that pitch was very hittable. Salvador Perez was spending a lot of time on the mound with Ventura, and sometimes that's what it takes. I see a time in Ventura's career where Salvi or whoever's catching him won't have to go out there at all. One of these years he'll get it all together.
It's Ryan Madson. He is warmed up and ready to go, just standing in the mound watching the game. Ramirez runs, and that's ball 4 to load up the bases. And Ned Yost, almost like he's thinking about it. They give him another batter. They go to the mound. Kipnis is coming up. Kipnis has 2 hits and an RBI against Ventura. Dave Island checking to make sure Madson is ready to go, and Ed's going to stick with Ventura and try and give him the opportunity to qualify for a win.
That's exactly what he's doing here. He's showing some confidence in his starter. That's what you like out of your skipper. That would have upset Ventura had he came in and changed pitches. But right now, it's on Ventura. He's got the ability to get out of this.
Sal saves a run.
So Ventura, you know, he's been backed by some good run support by his offense tonight. He's not having one of his better emotional nights. But his stuff is there. He's just got to harness it and focus right here on Kipnis.
And he gets a ground ball. So he gets through the 5 innings. The Indians get a run back. And it's been a very emotional night for Yordano Ventura, both good and bad. And at the end of 5. The Cardinals and the Cubs, and then it's the Royals and the Tigers, and that's a game you can only see on FS1. Coverage begins at 11:30 in the morning on Fox, and then 6 o'clock on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. So Friday, Sunday on Fox Sports Kansas City. Tomorrow, Johnny Cueto and Justin Verlander, and Edinson Volquez and Matt Boyd. On Saturday night, that's on FS1. Back on Fox Sports Kansas City Sunday afternoon, Chris Medlin against Alfredo Simon. 6-3 Royals. Gerard Dyson will lead off the 6th inning. And it's our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Teresa Wilson from the Missouri side of KC. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Teresa wins $600. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Teresa wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. And on the topic of grand slams, the Royals' magic number is 8. And Minnesota had a 5-0 lead over the Angels in the 2nd inning. And Mike Trout has just hit a grand slam for the Angels, and now they lead 6-5. If the Royals can hang on, if the Angels can hang on, the Royals' magic number would be 6. As Dyson pops out to third, and Gavin Floyd takes over for the Indians. Floyd has been out all season in a pretty serious injury in spring training, having surgery on his right elbow. It is the 3rd surgery he's had on his elbow in the last 3 years. Tommy John surgery in 2013. He fractured his right elbow last season pitching for the Braves, and then have surgery on that fractured elbow again in spring training. We remember Gavin Floyd after several years with the Chicago White Sox. And Zobrist has done well. How about that? 6 hits and 4 are home runs.
Gotta love that modern technology for modern day players today. Boy, I tell you that you have surgeries in the old days. When you hurt your arm, you were done unless you could find a way to rehab it. Added some extra years for these guys.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Well, sometimes, and I would say probably most of the time now, when the Royals are facing a pitcher who's had Tommy John surgery, I hardly even mention it. Where, 10 years ago, that was a big deal. Guy coming back from Tommy John surgery. This time Floyd gets Zobrist. Zobrist is 0 for 4, and there are 2 down in the 6th inning.
It's a good pitch there.
Gavin Floyd, a first-round pick of the Philadelphia Phillies 14 years ago, and then went to the White Sox in what was a blockbuster trade at the time and a deal for Freddie Garcia. Garcia gave the Phillies very little, and Gavin Floyd was a mainstay in the White Sox rotation for many years.
He's had a nice career. Good to see him back. He's throwing the ball well too.
Foul into the outdoor restaurant seating in the right field corner, and a souvenir and a hug.
A couple slaps on the cheek.
One to Moustakas. 1-2 on Moustakas, who has a double, a walk, and a run scored tonight. Floyd looks good. 3 up, 3 down with 2 strikeouts. To the bottom of the 6th, the Royals lead by 3. Matson starts the 6th. Keep up with the pennant races in true HD quality on MLB.tv. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD with MLB.tv Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service. Real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch tracking widget, and more every night on every device. Visit MLB.tv for details. Rodano Ventura getting through 5 innings, 95 pitches. This is game 7 on this road trip, and the Royals have had a starting pitcher go 6 or more innings twice.
Well,
a lot of work from the bullpen.
There's no doubt about it. And the bullpen, it's been that way all season long, and I don't expect it to change. With those good heavy arms that Ned has in that bullpen, it's really all a starter has to do, 5 or 6. You'd like to see a guy step up and go 7, but not tonight. It's all that matters is a win.
Francisco Lindor, then Michael Brantley, followed by Carlos Santana. One pitch, and it should be 1 out. Zobrist is in left field tonight. He takes care of it with 2 hands, and Lindor is 1 for 4.
Matson's going to use his fastball 90 to 95, 96 miles an hour. Cuts the fastball in the low 90s. And a nice changeup. It's a beauty. Rodano still plenty of energy left. He's sharing all he can tell you to Volquez there.
Michael Brantley is 0 for 3. He has reached on an error twice. An error by Escobar in the first inning and an error by Infante in the third. One ball and 1 strike. Last time Madsen pitched, he came on in a critical situation in the middle of an inning. 2 on 1 out in the 7th inning on Tuesday to relieve Chris Medlin, and he got strikeouts of Almonte and Urshela to end the inning. Now he has a nice clean inning and a good cutting fastball there. 1 ball 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was a big pickup for Medlin, and he did it with fine execution of the pitch there that we just saw, that cutter and his 4-seamer, and he used several changeups.
Ned Yost announced before the game tonight Chris Medlin is officially in the rotation for the playoffs. Now something could change between now and then, but just getting the team ready with about 2.5 weeks to go. The starting 4: Cueto, Volquez, Ventura, Medlin. Jeremy Guthrie is back in the regular season rotation, and the Royals are going to start preparing Danny Duffy to pitch out of the bullpen in the postseason.
Yeah, it's interesting how that evolved, but you know, it's all about performance. And you know, Duffy with that great arm, he could be used big time in that bullpen.
Fonte made a good play on a line drive, a changeup that was up to Brantley. 2 down. And as promised earlier in the game, we have selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tonight, sent in by Melissa. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag KCDataStrongFan. Brought to you by T-Mobile. Future Royal fan on the way. Congratulations to Melissa. I'm assuming that was Mr. Melissa in that picture.
Could have been. We don't know, but you know, congratulations, and keep those future Royals fans coming.
Santana doubled last time up and scored a run off the end of the bat, and there is nobody there. Santana will say, yeah, that makes up for a line out that I had 3 nights ago or whatever.
Yeah, you know what? People like to say that the hits all even out, but there are some hitters that would disagree with that. But you know, you take those little squibbers when you can get them.
Chisenhall with 1 on, 2 out. Indians won game 1 of this series 8-3, and Chisenhall drove in 3 in that game. He is 0 for 2 tonight with the walk. One and one. Great changeup.
It's a beauty. Madsen uses it to both lefties and righties. Equally effective. Especially after that 95, 96 mile an hour fastball.
Escobar goes out. He's there, and Ryan Madsen has a scoreless bottom of the 6th inning. Royals hoping to lead Cleveland with a 4-game split, and they lead 6-3 at the end of 6. It's brought to you by AT&T UVerse. High-speed internet. The UVerse revolves around you. Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Fourth and final game of this series. The Royals will fly to Detroit for a 3-game weekend series, and after the game on Sunday, we are down to 1 homestand and 1 road trip. 16 games after tonight. The kids are wearing crowns and the ladies are wearing tiaras. There's a very royal section.
Like it. Break them out.
Not sure if the fans behind her appreciate that. Might obscure a view. But hey, her team leads 6-3. Kendrys Morales leading off against Gavin Floyd, who was impressive in the 6th inning. And Kendrys Morales strikes out for a 3rd time tonight, and that's 3 straight strikeouts for Floyd going back to the 6th inning.
Yeah, Floyd looks good. He's got all of his pitches right where he wants them.
One down to Eric Hosmer. Hosmer doubled and drove in a run in the 5th inning. So he ties Mike Sweeney in 2001 with 20 RBIs in one season against Cleveland. And after tonight, the Royals still have 3 more with the Indians. In fact, the Royals' last 3 home games will be against Cleveland. Home regular season games, that is. Ramirez gets a big hop, and there are 2 down.
Now hitting for Kansas City, catcher Salvador Perez.
Boy, I sure hope her parents are keeping a close eye on her. That is in a very dangerous location. Who knows? Maybe she's not as tall as the dugout and getting some protection from the dugout. I think we'll see some extended netting next year.
Sure.
A lot of talk about that.
Sure hope so.
It sounds like the Players Association is behind it. Boy, I sure wish they'd move that little girl. Driven into deep right center field. It is off the very top of the wall. And Salvador Perez, coming within inches of a home run, has to settle with a long single.
Floyd finally left one up that was hittable. There it was, belt high, good. Short, quick swing, just missed it. No chance for a double.
Salvador Perez just inches away from tying the Royals record for home runs by a catcher. Ball 1 to Alex Rios. Salvador's at 19. That ties him with Miguel Olivo. He had 19 in 2009. Mike McFarland had 20 home runs for the Royals in 1993. Alex Rios has had a very good night. 2 more hits, a walk, and a run scored. So he's been on base 3 times. He's hit safely in 8 straight. Two and one. A couple of veterans who have been skating on thin ice with the Royals for a big chunk of the season have chipped in tonight. Rios with the run scored, 2 hits, and Omar Infante has 5 RBIs, and that ball is over Brantley's head. And the Indians are lucky that Perez was the runner at first base. He'll go to third on the 3rd hit of the game and 2nd double tonight for Alex Rios. And Omar Infante is coming up.
For Kansas City, the batter, number 14, Omar Infante.
Hey, another ball up. Floyd, hadn't made many. He's only made 2 mistakes in his inning and 2/3. And both of them, the hitters didn't miss them.
Omar Infante, if you're wondering, his career high for RBIs is 6, and he's done it twice. Tonight he has 5. He has a 3-run home run and a 2-run single. Now one of those games was against the Royals, playing for the Tigers. He had a 6 RBI game, and then last year in his first season with KC he had a 6 RBI game at Baltimore. Royals already have a 9 RBI game on this trip. That was Mike Moustakas on Saturday in Baltimore.
To sit out as long as Rios did and to get in there, you know, that's exactly what you do. You get in there and you show your manager that you can produce and you can be a productive part. You're going to get yourself in there more often. He's not done.
2-1 on Infante. Good hard slider. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I don't believe he's going to give him anything straight.
Full count. He gets on. Escobar's on deck. Base hit left center field. He has tied his career high, and now he has a new career high. Omar Infante has driven in 7, and the Royals lead 8-3.
All aboard. Oh, 3-2. Stayed short with his swing, and you know it'd be so easy to be able to hit that ball to the shortstop on the line, but when you're going good, you get your hits right down the middle. Short and compact. Those fastballs, Infante's beat him all night on those fastballs. Congratulations. That's a heck of a game.
This is the first time he's played on this road trip.
Yeah, amazing. That's making a statement.
It's also the first time he's played in 11 days. First time he started in 11 days.
Gotta love that.
7 RBIs. We're only in the 7th inning. Get a chance to bat again. All of a sudden Floyd is struggling. Gavin Floyd came on in the 6th inning. 3 up, 3 down, 2 strikeouts. 2 up, 2 down in this inning. And Salvador Perez singled, Rios doubled, and Omar Infante. It's a 2-run single to give the Royals their biggest lead of the night.
Yeah, 10th hit of the game.
And a base hit for Escobar. So maybe this is the night that gets him going. He has 2 hits. And here comes Terry Francona. So Gavin Floyd, and I hate to be rough on a guy who's coming back from a 3rd elbow surgery in 3 years, but I remember this from him as a starter. He would look like for 5 or 6 innings like he was going to throw a no-hitter and then would hit a wall. Well, tonight, an inning and 2/3, lights out. He hits a wall, and Terry Francona brings in Austin Adams.
Great to see the bats waking up.
Infante has that huge smile. He has a career-high 7 RBIs, and he hadn't started a game in 11 days. It's his first start on this road trip. Austin Adams comes on with 2 on, 2 out. The Royals have added 2 runs in this inning after 2 outs. And Adams inherits 2 runners and will pitch to Jarrod Dyson.
Adams has a good fastball, mid to upper 90s. Good slider.
Dyson has a sac bunt, and he is 0 for 2. .98. 1 ball, 1 strike.
A good live arm. Good slider to go with it. Occasional changeups.
Shattered bat. Dyson is out, and that's the inning. Omar Infante has a 3-run home run and a pair of 2-run singles. He's driven in 7 of the 8, and the Royals lead by 5.
The Royals as Panera takes us around the league. Toronto, boy, they can put up those numbers fast. They lost the first game against Atlanta, but back to win 2 in a row, it looks like. Houston trailing Texas. Boy, the Rangers taking it to the Astros in this series. LA over Minnesota. Ryan talked about the Twins up early and now falling behind, and told you about the Cubs beating the Pirates earlier today. Let's go to Atlanta. Shocker. Edwin Encarnacion goes deep with the home run. It's usually him or Donaldson. And perhaps no coincidence that a couple of losses when Edwin Encarnacion was out for a couple of days. Safe to say we will be talking about Omar Infante coming up on Boulevard Royals Live. Over his last 21 games that he played, he had 6 RBI. He has 7 tonight. We'll talk about him getting all those bats going, including an 8-game hitting streak by Alex Rios. And Monty will break down the pitching performance of Yordano Ventura coming up on Boulevard Royals Live.
Okay, Joel, and Joel had mentioned that Kelvin Herrera has had a tough time lately, and that includes a game in this series. Salvador Perez, I think, upset that pitch wasn't called a strike. Omar Infante with a career high 7 RBIs. How about In the course of, well, less than a week, the Royals have had a 9 RBI performance from Moustakas and a 7 RBI performance from Omar Infante, which I believe ties the previous team record, a 7 RBI game. Mike Moustakas broke that in Baltimore. So basically, in less than a week, we've had 2 guys either tie or beat an RBI record for a franchise that is in its 47th year of existence.
Yeah, you got to love that, having nights like they're having. But you know, Infante's not done. He's going to have another at bat tonight.
Salvador Perez has another at bat tonight. Second time he's been nailed by a foul tip.
I took the wind out of it. Better the chest protector than the mask.
Earlier in the game, he took one off of his right shoulder or right collarbone. Herrera in game 1 allowed 3 runs in 1 inning. 3 big runs. It turned a 1-run game into a 4-run game, and the Cleveland Indians ended up winning by 5. And it's 2 consecutive outings where Herrera has allowed 3 runs. He gave up 3 runs in 2/3 of an inning on Friday in Baltimore.
Now, you know, he's going to throw that fastball and it's going to get hit. He's only human.
That time a good changeup, and it leads Hosmer to the bag, and Almonte is out, number 1.
But it's nice to be struggling with a 2.87 ERA.
And the hitter that hurt him in game 1 on Monday here comes to the plate. Yan Gomes. Herrera giving up those 3 runs in the 7th inning on Monday. Gomes was in that inning with a 2-run double. 0 for 2 tonight. He was hit by a pitch by Ventura in the 5th inning. Good hard breaking ball for a strike. It's 0-2. Ventura went 5. He allowed 3 runs. Madsen pitched a scoreless 6th. Still 0-2. Crowd reacting as a couple of fans were in pursuit of that foul ball in the upper deck. Small crowd, hardly anybody in the upper deck, but one fan was going up, one fan was going across, and the fan going across dove into an empty seat and got himself a souvenir. And on the next pitch, Herrera strikes out Gomes, and there are 2 down in the bottom of the 7th.
Using a rare slider. It's beauty. That'll give him some confidence. Good part of the plate inside. That's his 3rd best pitch.
Jose Ramirez takes one in the dirt, ball 1. He has 2 hits, an RBI, and a run scored. Royals got 3 in the 2nd inning on the Infante home run, and then in the bottom of the 2nd, the Indians got 2. They came right back to make it a 1-run game. The Royals got 3 in the 5th, and Cleveland got 1 in the bottom of the 5th. And now the 2-run top of the 7th has given the Royals a 5-run lead. Herrera comes on to get the Indians in order, and now at the end of 7, the Royals have a 5-run lead. Is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre with Rex Hudler, along with Joel Goldberg and Jeff Montgomery. Royals have an 8-3 lead as Ben Zobrist bats for the 5th time. Zobrist is 0 for 4 tonight with a couple of strikeouts. We're here tonight with producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, our associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. 1-1 on Zobrist.
Yep, that's our team. We got to have those guys. Thank you guys for your support.
Yeah, guys, thank you for your support.
That's right. Got to have it.
Zobrist, Moustakas, and Morales. Chisenhall in right field will bring it down, and Zobrist is 0 for 5.
Now stepping to the plate for Kansas City, number 8, Mike Moustakas.
And here comes Terry Francona. It'll be Giovanni Soto, the lefty, to face Mike Moustakas. With the Royals ahead by 5. 1 out, nobody on base. Inning and a wild night in Minneapolis, our Mazda game break. This is a grand slam off the bat of Mike Trout. And that is in a 6-run second inning for the Angels. Minnesota had a 5-0 lead at the end of 1. And now the Angels with 6 in the second, 2 in the third, and lead 8-5. It's still very early. Minnesota game and a half back, the wild card, and the Angels right behind them. And Angels 3.5 back. This is Giovanni Soto. First time the Royals have seen him. And he comes on to face Mike Moustakas with 1 out, nobody on in the 8th inning.
He's got a big slow curve. He likes to throw lefties. That fastball not overpowering.
A lot of Indians in the area, and it's Ramirez who makes the play to get Moustakas. He had Lindor going out, Ramirez going out, Almonte coming in. Chisenhall was coming in. 2 down. And Soto will stay on to face Morales.
I knew that was coming. Terry Francona, he likes to mix and match.
Well, in his defense, somewhat in his defense, this is what teams have been doing with left-hand batters. Normally it's Hosmer, Morales, Moustakas. Tonight it's Moustakas, Morales, Hosmer, as Kane and Gordon are getting the night off, but they will bring in a lefty to face a lefty, have move Morales bat right-handed, and then face the other lefty. One and 2, and Kendrys has already struck out 3 times tonight. He does have a single and a run scored. He is 1 for 4. Up the right field line and off the side wall.
That's the right idea against Soto. He's a soft tossing lefty. He's going to try to finesse his way on the outer half of the plate. Morales just missed the double.
What would Bob Uecker say?
Just a little bit outside. Morales, no batting gloves. It's rare. Of course, you know, you mentioned he's punched out 3 times, and sometimes he'll wear them when he's going good, and when he's not, he takes them off.
3 and 2. And maybe mixing it up. He struck out 9 times in the series. Twice he's had a 3 strikeout game. So this is a stretch we have not seen from Morales all year. He has been steady as it goes. And a base hit into center field with no batting gloves. A 2-hit game tonight. And he's on with 2 outs.
For Kansas City, now hitting first baseman Eric Hosmer.
Eric Hosmer's double in the 5th inning gives him 20 RBIs this year against the Indians, tying the Royals team record. Mike Sweeney established that, back in 2001. And it's not the first time or the first year that Hosmer has done well against the Indians. He has 12 home runs and 56 RBIs against the Indians in his career. That's more RBIs than he has against any other team. Chops it out to Ramirez. He'll play it to first, and that's the inning. Soto comes on and saves the inning. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Wade Davis coming on with the Royals leading by 5. cuts of the game tonight, maybe the sprint emotions of the game tonight for Yordano Ventura.
Yep, many meetings inside the dugout and out. Salvi making several trips to the mound to try to calm down this young fireballer. He's able to stay in there. If they hold him off here, he can qualify for the W. Would be his 12th on the season.
That right there showed you the sequence of pictures there. Ned Yost, hands folded, arms folded in the Royals dugout next to Dave Island. He was one batter away from taking Ventura out of the game before 5 innings. He would not have qualified for the win, but he left him in for that last shot that you saw, ground ball to Hosmer, which gave him the 5 innings. Madsen pitched the 6th, Herrera the 7th, Wade Davis the 8th, and Davis will get Urshela, Kipnis, and Lindor. 9, 1, and 2 hitters. And a cutter is in for strike 1. Paulo Orlando takes over for Ben Zobrist in left field. Oh, and 2 on Urshela.
Good hammer there. He's got low 90s cutters, upper 90s 4-seam fastball.
Three pitches. Down he goes. Urshela is 1 for 3 with that strikeout. And now Jason Kipnis. Two hits and an RBI for Kipnis. Two and 0. I enjoyed our chat with him during batting practice today.
Yeah, he gave us a lot of time.
I was curious about something I mentioned last night. He made the rare conversion from outfielder to infielder in the Indians minor league system. He was a center fielder at ASU, and he played his first minor league season with the Indians in the outfield. And that was when the Indians were loaded with outfielders at the time, and in particular that Grady Sizemore in center, and they did not have a lot of help at second base, so they were trying to turn someone into a second baseman, and did so very successfully with Jason Kipnis.
Another opportunity at first when they approached him to go to second base. He was a little offended. You know, he thought he was a good enough outfielder to be a big league outfielder, but they said, hey, look, your quickest path to the big leagues and to our team is at second. And whenever you hear that, you're saying, all right, I'm in. So he went to instructional league and worked every day at second base.
Strike 3 call. Kipnis didn't like it. And to finish the thought, the guy that helped him more than anyone in the transition in instructional league was a guy named Anthony Medrano, who spent a long time in the Royals minor league system and now is a minor league coach. Let's see why Kipnis was upset at that call. A little bit outside the grid. Lindor looks at a big curveball coming out of the sky. One for 4 with a 4th inning single. And a little pop up. Rios is out there. And Davis in the 8th inning takes care of Cleveland. 1, little 2, little 3, little Indians.
Check, please.
Michael Brantley. Big 12 football this Saturday on Fox Sports Kansas City. 2-0 K-State takes on Louisiana Tech in Manhattan, and you can see it right here on Fox Sports Kansas City Saturday at 2 p.m. And this is Sean Armstrong on the mound. Making his 6th appearance. He is not allowed an earned run, and he has 7 strikeouts and just 1 walk in 5 2/3 innings. We'll get Salvador Perez, Alex Rios, and Omar Infante. And if Perez and Rios get on, which they have done a combined 6 times tonight, Omar Infante with a chance to add to his big night. He has driven in 7 of the 8 runs.
Get a couple guys out there for him. Armstrong, good fastball, mid to maybe a 96 out of him. I see that. He's got likes to cut it, and he's got a nice slow curveball.
You know, it's interesting how the game has evolved, and bullpens are so much more important now than they were 15 years ago. Seem to be more and more important every year. And you have guys like Armstrong, who has never made a professional start. Drafted as a reliever, continued to be a reliever. And it's not the way it used to be. And I was curious. I looked up Jeff Montgomery's career numbers, and Monty had 304 saves, became an elite reliever. We know that in Kansas City, but he made 44 minor league starts and actually made 1 major league start. And that's usually how relievers began their career. Line shot is caught by Urshela at third. It's the 2nd time that Salvi's hit one right on the nose for an out. But now, with the bullpens being so important, it's kind of had a trickle down effect to college and high school. And you know, guys are already closing games in college, and so they're drafted and they become a closer in the minor leagues.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game now, and especially if you have a power arm, because managers love to have that power arm at the back end or anywhere in their bullpen, so they can blow it by guys, come in with runners on, and get those instant strikeouts.
Alex Rios didn't mean to do it. He has a 3-hit game, and he has walked, so 4 for 4 as far as on base percentage goes. 2 doubles, 2 runs scored. Both times he's come home on hits from Omar Infante. And if Rios can get on, Infante with a home run could tie Mike Moustakas' team record, which he established 5 days ago in Baltimore.
If it can happen here, Rios down 0-2.
And that will not happen. Still a great night for Alex Rios. And now 2 down to Infante. And as we promised earlier in the game, it is Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Omar Infante, after sitting for 11 days, says, you know what, I'm not rusty. I'm going to hit a 3-run homer off last year's Cy Young Award winner. I'll stay hot, get me a nice base hit there. You got 2 runs behind that. That's 5. And with them 2nd and 3rd, here it is, a live shot now. That's going to be a foul ball. Infante driving that Royals bus. They needed somebody to ignite them.
13 hits for the Royals tonight, so 66 games with 10 or more hits. Only the Giants and Tigers have more in the major leagues. One ball, 1 strike. Almonte runs it down in right center field. Great night for Omar Infante. Tied for the second most in Royals history with a 7 RBI game. It'll be Franklin Morales to the mound as the Royals go for the series split. Leading 8-3. Drew Butera will catch the bottom of the 9th inning. And Franklin Morales will pitch the bottom of the 9th inning.
Nice to have a little breathing room. Good to see him. Omar Infante have a night. Have a month. A month and 1 night.
The amazing thing about Infante's night, I mean, he's had 2 6 RBI games before tonight. He has 7, but it's his first start in 11 days and the first time he's played on this road trip. His bat didn't get cold at all. Michael Martinez fouls it off of Chris Guccione's mask. This is Martinez first at bat of the night. He took over for Brantley in left field top half of this inning. Now 0-2 on the switch hitting Martinez.
Martinez is a guy who can play all different positions. He's a veteran guy. He's in his 30s, early 30s. And he's hungry. He wants to get as much time as he can, so he wants to impress, being aggressive against Morales.
A former professional basketball player in the Dominican Republic, so that's why early into his big league career, as you said, he's been around. Signed 10 years ago for the first time.
I had a chance to talk to him in game 1 of the series. He was out there working out. I watched him working in different positions, and he said, you know, had a nice little opportunity with the Phillies. He's kind of a National League style player because he can play a lot of different spots, but that's important. Get some time, the more positions you can play. Sure does help you. You got to just stay at it, produce when you can.
to Moustakas. And a wild throw, and it goes into the camera bay. And Martinez will end up at second base.
And hopefully they'll give him a hit on that. But they're not. Hit him in the back. Tester, he topped it. Moose stayed back for the long hop. And I'm not so sure he would have got it if he makes an accurate throw. Let's see again. Yeah, the ball was off the mark.
That is the Royals' fourth error. And so far, only one error has led to a run. There's a strike to Carlos Santana. Santana has 2 hits and a run scored. One and two. Interesting. It's just the second time the Royals have committed 4 errors this year, and if they hang on, they will have won both games. They have committed 4 errors. The first one is a game, HUD, I'll bet you'll never forget. Royals and the Blue Jays 1 day before the All-Star break.
Oh, man.
For that wild game, Royals won 11-12 or 11-10.
That must have been 100 degrees that day.
Paulo Orlando had a big home run right late in the game.
He did. I think that was the grand slam, I think. Was it?
No, the grand slam was in that doubleheader against Tampa Bay. But back and forth, Royals had a big lead. Toronto took the lead. Paulo got the base hit late. Now Moustakas dives. He keeps it on the infield. That'll be a base hit for Santana, his 3rd.
Oh, yeah. Well, you score enough runs, and it's nice to see the offense come out there and at least try to get the split here in this 4-game series. And that's with a couple of key hitters not hot.
Greg Holland warms up. One more base runner, and it becomes a save situation. This is Jerry Sands batting for Lonnie Chisenhall. Done a nice job in 10 at-bats as a pinch hitter. 5 RBIs in 10 at-bats. You know, this is the game. It's the kind of game where you say, gosh, you really hate to use your closer. 5-run game, 9th inning. What we've learned about Greg Holland, the more he pitches, the better he is with his control, the more arm strength that he has. So you don't want to necessarily have the Royals create a safe situation here. It'd be nice just to get out of here with a nice big lead, but thinking long term, thinking big picture, maybe it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to get Holland in the game. 2 balls and 1 strike. Ball is foul, but home run distance. Line drive has just sailed over the wall. Look out, man. Indians fans are crazy for foul balls tonight.
Oh my.
And 2. 2 drinks. Missed the ball and knocked 2 drinks off the ledge. Well, he was 0 for 3 on 1 attempt. Just nicked it foul. Still 2-2 on Sands. We had a situation last night when Lindor hit that home run in the first inning. A fellow went running across the bleachers in left field and knocked over a guy's beer, getting a home run ball, and then they almost brawled.
This can't we all get along?
Yeah, I mean, come on. How many sporting goods stores do they have here in Cleveland? You've got to have a few at least, right? Where you can go get a baseball. That's into right field. 1 hop to Rios. They'll hold the runners. So the bases are loaded with nobody out, and it becomes a save situation. An error, an infield single, and a bloop single. And they're loaded up, and suddenly things are not so comfortable for the Royals in the bottom of the 9th.
Well, we got to give some credit to Jerry Sands there. That was a nice pinch hit opportunity. Gives him his 4th pinch hit of the year. Just fighting off everything Morales had to offer.
So there's the call. Greg Holland comes on with the tying run on deck. The Royals lead 8-3 in the bottom of the 9th. A base hit off of a glove and a bloop, and the Indians have the bases loaded with nobody out. Greg Holland comes on with the tying run on deck. Holland saved the game 2 nights ago. Got around a leadoff walk, an infield single, and ended the game with a strikeout. In a game when his velocity with his fastball was anywhere from 87 to 93. This is Abraham Almonte, and a slider is hit in the air to right field. Rios will make the catch. He will play it to third, and Santana is in safely. Martinez scores, so it is 8-4, and that keeps the tying run on deck as Holland gets the first out of the 9th inning.
Again, the Tribe going to be swinging early, trying to get that fastball. They know he's got a great slider. They don't want to have to try to hit that.
Yan Gomes with Santana at third and Sands at first. Slider and a good one. No balls and 1 strike.
Gomes guessing fastball all the way.
broken bat. Escobar steps on the bag. Double play. Game over.
Yeah. Holly. Get her done. And just, how many pitches he throw? 3? That's a beautiful night's work. Nobody out. Way to go, Hammer.
Oh. 3-pitch save.
That was nice.
Omar Infante on offense drove in 7 of the Royals' 8 runs in his first start in 11 days. In his first game on this road trip. And the Royals split the 4-game series. And that means the Royals have 86 wins. That means the Royals have 3 consecutive years being at least 10 games over 500. Last time they did that was 1975 through 1978. That was 4 consecutive years. And for the first time in Royals history, the Royals have beaten a reigning Cy Young winner 4 times. 4 times after he won the Cy Young. The Royals did it against Vida Blue 3 times, Catfish Hunter 3 times, Raleigh Fingers 3 times, and now Corey Kluber 4 times 1 year after he wins the Cy Young. Story on offense tonight was Omar Infante.
Really special night. I mean to tell you, Omar Infante is going to get more playing time when he swings a productive bat like that. That's exactly how you answer. And he was right on everything. Nice to see there was no layoff for him, no rot in his bat.
All right, guys, Salvi's waiting patiently. Go ahead.